There's a lot of talk about building a full and complete LinkedIn profile, being found with keywords, and getting noticed through storytelling. But what no one's talking about are the sections on your LinkedIn profile that you can totally ignore because they're a complete waste of time for you as a job seeker. And in today's video, that's exactly what I'll be exposing. LinkedIn profile features that are the biggest time wasters for job seekers. I'm Kamara Toffolo, resume writer, LinkedIn consultant, job search strategist, and LinkedIn top voice who helps established professionals dare to do work differently and land great fitting gigs. I post new job search videos every week, and my videos will equip you with some of the most valuable information to make your job search easier, because job searching shouldn't be this hard. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn, an evangelist, if you will. I mean, I'm a LinkedIn top voice, and I've spoken and appeared on LinkedIn News and LinkedIn Career Talks, so LinkedIn is kind of my jam. But while I frequently praise LinkedIn, I'm also vocal about any of the issues that I come across with the platform. In particular, there are a lot of features on LinkedIn profiles that made me go, huh? Or why? And so today I'm going to share with you the LinkedIn profile features that I think that you can ignore as a busy job seeker in a segment that I like to call Why You Develop That. First, we're going to take a look at the LinkedIn dumping ground that is the accomplishments section. From patents to languages, projects to test scores, the accomplishments section on LinkedIn is your job search junk drawer. Batteries, loose rubber bands, and that weird plastic tip that you know belongs to something important but you can't quite remember, that is the LinkedIn accomplishments section. Why'd you develop that? First, let me tell you about the sections within the accomplishments sections that are semi-useful. Languages. When you can do business in or work in multiple languages, you can note them here. Patents. If you have patents that are relevant to your career direction, you can note them here. And organizations. If you have professional memberships, you can include them here. The rest you can totally do without filling in. Why? Well, this section lives at the bottom of your LinkedIn profile, and it is very unlikely to be read. And I have heard directly from recruiters that they simply do not read this section. Secondly, it's very poorly organized. Like we said, junk drawer. Third, you can include information that might go in the accomplishments section in the other sections of your profile that are more likely to be read. So first up is the projects section within the accomplishments section. Projects should not live on their own. They should be living in the descriptions of the roles in which they happened. This helps the reader understand when you were involved in a project and gives them context for how you were involved in it. I explain this idea a bit more in my video on resume space wasters and why you don't want to have a dedicated section to projects. Instead, you want to allocate them to the job in which they happened. Next up is the courses section within the accomplishments section. We don't need to use the courses section because we have an education section already on our LinkedIn profile. Also, we don't need to list every single course we've ever taken throughout the course of our career. When making the decision whether or not to include a course in your education section on LinkedIn, ask yourself if that course is relevant to your current career direction. If it is, go ahead and add it to your education section, but make sure that your most important degrees and credentials are listed near the top of your education section on your profile. I show you how to do this in my video, How to Change Your LinkedIn Education section. Next LinkedIn time waster is test scores in the accomplishments section. We don't need to share test scores on our profiles ever. And I would be very hesitant to also include GPA on our LinkedIn profiles. Simply, this is information that we don't need to, and I don't see why we should declare it publicly. If scores and GPA are something that a future employer needs, they'll ask for it. Next, we've got the honors and awards section within the accomplishments section. Just like projects, honors and awards should be shared under the role in which they happened. I also explain this idea in my resume space wasters video, where I explain why you don't want to have a dedicated awards and accomplishments section on your resume. The same concept applies here for your LinkedIn profile. And the last accomplishment section that I want to point out as being a LinkedIn profile time waster is the publications section within the accomplishments section. When it comes to sharing publications on our LinkedIn profile, I'd encourage you to only share publications that are relevant to your target career direction. We only want to share publications that really reinforce the skills and strengths required from us in our target job. That said, the publication section in itself is redundant now. We now have the featured section on our profile, which is close to the top, which makes it much more likely to be read. Next up is probably my biggest LinkedIn profile pet peeve, and that's the ability to define employment type.
Why'd you develop that?
Why does this bother me so much, you're probably wondering. The reason is because work is work. Whether it's full-time or part-time, contract or permanent, work is work. So sharing the nature of how many hours you might work per week or what it might say in your employment contract really adds no value, in my opinion, is a distraction, and could also lead to unnecessary bias. So my recommendation is to not use this feature where you can define your employment type under each of your jobs. If you want to indicate that a role you held was a contract role, I don't see that this is necessary to publicly declare on your LinkedIn profile. And I think that noting this on your resume would totally suffice. And finally, let's talk about the media feature in your experience section. I think this feature is a big time waster for job seekers, but I can see the value for self-employed folks. So this LinkedIn time waster doesn't earn a
"Why'd you develop that?"
Oh, but there it is anyway. Oops. The reason that I don't typically recommend job seekers include media in their jobs within the experience section is because once visitors arrive on our profile, we want them to stay there and read further. We don't really want them to click and leave. Further, I see a lot of inappropriate content being shared in the media feature within jobs, like linking to a former employer's company website or sharing a product pamphlet that a job seeker didn't actually have any involvement in, and so on. But if you are, say, in marketing or design or development and you have a portfolio that you'd like to share, that's what the featured section is there for. Your time is precious, and a job search takes considerable time investment. I hope that this video will help you conserve more of that job search time and energy so it's not wasted on LinkedIn profile time wasters. And here's my cue for you. What sections do you think might be a waste of time on your LinkedIn profile? And which sections do you think are the most helpful? Tell me in the comments below. As you know, I make a lot of videos, but I also make free guides to help you in your job search. If you'd like to get my free cover letter guide and checklist or my free post-interview thank you messages guide and templates, you can grab them by signing up for them. The links are in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate if you could give it a like. It really helps my channel. And also maybe consider sharing this video with a friend. And of course, if you haven't done so already, click on my face over there and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.